Okay, it's really good to see you all here. Different venue, being in Texas. For us, we've been in meetings with OU in Texas already, but being here gives it new meaning, I should say. But it's a lot of fun. I know once we get here and I start talking to you guys, it's time to go. So summer's over. It was very short, but I'm excited about this team. I love the leadership that we have, and the three gentlemen that I brought with me today to represent our team will do a great job, and we're excited to get going.
What do you think will excite the fans about your team?
Just the competitive nature that we're going to have. I know this team has a chip on its shoulder. It's going to play the way we want to play and represent the state and our fans the way we want them to, and we're excited about that.
There's so many big picture issues with football, the SEC, college sports right now. Does that energize you, finding a way that Kentucky exists in that landscape, or do you get kind of tired of all of that stuff you're doing outside of football?
You hit a key word right there, exist.
Yeah.
And so, that's just it. Do I get tired of it? No. I mean, you either exist, you either exit, or you explore new ways to be innovative and to make the best of it. I think, I want to live in that world of exploring the best way. How do we make that next jump? Is there some frustration in there sometimes with all that? Is there some more work and some different things, new meaning to the job, fundraiser? You know what I mean? Like it's new, it's challenging, but it's also exciting. How could we explore this avenue to help us make that jump and compete and be relevant? And I work for our players. I raise money for our players, and that's just a new part of it.
Mike Tomlin made a statement. He says he has a lot of guys on this roster that are capable. Says he needs more guys that are willing to do the work. Do you feel like you have enough guys that are willing to put the work in, pay the price to take that jump?
Yeah, that's a great point by Coach Tomlin. It doesn't surprise me with the wisdom that he has. But we'll see. I believe we do. I believe in our players, and that's in a way it's what we talk about with culture, right? It's a part of our culture. We have a competitive culture, a united culture, but that's not always perfect, and so we need people that are willing to pull a teammate up when adversity hits, because when adversity hits, it kind of shatters that mental model that we all want, right? We all want it to be perfect. We prepare our players for adversity. We talk about it constantly, but how do you really respond to that? And are you willing to go right back to work and put that play behind you, put that game behind you, and grind it out? And I think Coach Tomlin is a great example of that, because for him to have a winning record every year, no matter what his players are like in that league, says a lot about him. And, I like that about us and about what we've done. Do we want more? Do we want to take it to the next level, as we just talked about with your comment? Yes, we do. But also, I can't lose sight of the fact that we have been consistent. There's only 8 teams in the country that have been to 8 straight bowls. And there's only 2 teams that have been in the SEC this whole time that have done that. That's not nothing. So it's something, but we want to continue to progress. We want to take it to the next level.
Mark, you talked about the changes. Pete Thamel reported that the rough number for roster limits would be 105. Is 105 enough to operate a football team?
It's not, but I really don't want to get into too much of that right now, because it's all still hearsay, and we're working through that. I think we're pretty collective, within the SEC to think that's a pretty tough number to operate, because if people want to say, well, that's the NFL, well, they could bring in unlimited players. They have somebody hurt, they just replace them with somebody that's healthy. So it's a lot of things to take into consideration.
Mark, you talked about from the very first day you got here about depth and quality depth. This seems to be, if you look on paper, you've got great depth on the defensive line, you've got great depth on the offensive line, you brought in really good receivers, defensive guys. Are you finally where you want to be with this program, depth and quality?
I think we're in a good position. I like our team. I like the depth that we have. I like the way they're working. And now we got to take it to the field. We got to take it to camp. Our guys really never really stop working. During May, a lot of them may branch out and go their own way. Not a lot of them. Some of them will go and specialize, maybe with a pass rush specialist or do some different things. But they're working all year round, and they've been grinding all summer. And the rules permit us to spend some time with them, and the coaches have been around them. And I like what I see.
Kind of expanding on that offensive line wise, it seems like you guys are 8 or 9 deep now with Gerald and Jalen coming in. Do you
Yeah.
feel more comfortable than you've been the last couple of years with the depth there?
I do. I do feel more comfortable. We needed to add some depth to give us some more bodies up front, be physical. We have to be who we are, and we've talked about it many times, about having that physical nature, being able to run the ball. And I could go back several years, and we're bringing in Liam, and what do we need to improve on? We're getting the ball down the field. Well, now we feel like we have some skill guys. We have a quarterback we believe in. He's got to go prove it, but we have some guys we believe in. But we still have to be who we are, and that's physical on both sides of the line.
John?
What was the pitch to Gavin? We haven't talked to you since you added him. Because you already had Brock here. He's
Yeah.
a guy who started for 2 years
Yeah.
in the Big Ten. What was the pitch to him coming
Well,
in?
I think he had an opportunity to come in and compete. He has a lot of snaps under his belt. We don't have a lot of experience on our roster, and he was looking for an opportunity to come in and prove himself and to compete, and so we like that with Gavin. We like the fact that he's got snaps under his belt. He's a big, strong guy, and I think he'll do very well in our system.
Alex Safari is a guy who's kind of played around at multiple spots. Is there a sort of directive you want him to take in year 3 after really popping in year 1?
Yeah, I think, he is a guy that is, came in kind of as a tweener. He's such a big athlete, and we knew that coming out of high school, that he was just a very good football player. He's played multiple positions for us already. May play him in some different spots here coming up this fall, but he's a guy that has a bright future, has to go through the growing pains of trusting us to move him around and put him in a position that ultimately is best for him. Because what's best for him is going to help the team as well, and it's going to help him in his future.
You had so many issues injury-wise on the defensive line in spring practice. How many of those do you expect to kind of carry over into the fall? Are you concerned still about depth, especially at nose?
I think nose, we definitely took a little hit at nose, and so, we have some other guys that are coming back that weren't completely healthy in the spring. That'll help us, but there's a few that, may be out.
This will be the first time in a long time you're not handing off to either a guy named Snell or Rodriguez. I mean, what are your concerns about running back? You've got numbers, but what about the depth there?
Yeah, I think, it's another position that has to go prove it, right? It's, we have guys that are very capable. We have to work together. We have to have a good system. We have to have guys up front that can block. We have to change the pitcher and be multiple, like we've been in the past. But we have to have some guys make some people miss and get the tough yards that we've always had here. I think Chip is a guy that we're all excited about. But Jason Patterson's done some really good things, and so Wilcox even is a guy that I'd like to see step up a little bit and do something. But we feel like we have some depth.
We haven't seen Bush Hammond's offense extensively, but you talked a lot in the offseason about getting more physical. Is a lot of that getting back to running the ball downhill?
Well, I think that. You've listened to me long enough, and you understand, this game, and at this level, you're not going to be consistent unless you can run the ball. That doesn't mean we have to go back and just run the football. I mean, we want to be exciting. We want the ball down the field. That helps set all that up if you could run the football and be effective running the football. So I think if you talk to every single head coach that stood in front of you here, at media days, I think every one of them would say they want to be physical up front, no matter what it is. I mean, you look at, the offenses that everybody is wowed by the speed and by the getting the ball down the field. You look at, Tennessee, you look at Ole Miss, you look at some of those guys. They run the heck out of the ball, and it starts there.
Can you talk about the change that you made at the wide receiver coach position? Are you starting to see signals that group is ready to take a leap there, Mark?
I'm very impressed with Tequil Shorts. He's a guy that we brought in from Houston, and he's a young guy, and he has a great relationship with the players, but he's very demanding. I love the fact that he has that youthful, youthfulness and can relate, but also is very demanding. He really doesn't play. He's about work and about business, and he's done a really good job. I think the players really respect him, and I feel like we're making some growth there.
I wanted to ask briefly about recruiting, because you don't know how many you can recruit or add for that class. So what's the challenge of that, and also how do you like the way that class is coming together?
Yeah, I told our coaches, throughout this process, go. Like, let's go. Sometimes we got to be very selective, and that's always been a part of our model of selecting the right players, and now it's even more of a challenge because you're going to have to select more and make sure you're getting the right guys that fit your culture. But we have to go, and until we know what's going on, you got to continue to recruit a lot of guys.
Are you confident, whatever the model looks like, that Kentucky's willing to invest in football in this post-scholarship limit world that
Absolutely.
everybody else
We
in
have
the
no
SEC?
choice. You have no choice. You want to compete in this league, you got to do it, and that's part of again, what we have to do. Once again, you could exist, you could just hang around, and you could leave. You know what I mean? Or you can continue to invest more, and it's super important. The SEC says it just means more, right? Well, and so, we need to continue to pour into it, and I continue to ask for help. I mean, if there's one thing that's weighing me down, it's raising money. And that's just a lot of work, but it's a lot of pressure. These guys deserve it, and I have to find a way to be creative and continue to work at it to raise funds, and I need some help. I need some help in that area desperately.
This is your, 12th year you've been coming to this event. You had a plan when you got to Kentucky. Won a lot of games, bowl games. Has this been what you had envisioned for this program? I know you're not satisfied, but in terms of how you hoped it would unfold.
I don't know, if you ever go back that far, you start with that plan, and you have to have a good plan, and like I said many times, you got to have good instincts too. So you have to alter and adjust and be adaptable, or you're not going to survive. You're going to be irrelevant. And so I think, again, I don't want to dismiss the great things that we've done, the good things that we've done, and made a lot of growth. And Tony or Susan told me a stat, if you look at 2018, I mean, we're the fourth most wins in the conference. I mean, it's not nothing. Do we want more? Does the fans want more? Absolutely. Let's continue to work. We'll continue to do our part. Let's continue to invest. And we'll do that. And again, the consistency. Again, it's not nothing going to 8 straight bowl games. I mean, there's 8 teams that have done that. There's 2 teams that have been in our league besides us that have done it. And I think Oklahoma would be the 3rd, but have been in the SEC. It's a challenge. There's some great institutions that have gone through some ups and downs. And, we've been very stable. I just want to continue to grow.
Okay, folks, thanks. Okay, last one. We got to get him out of here.
These 3 guys.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you select them? What have they done with this program, and what do you see them doing this season? Why bring these guys?
Well, it's the leadership. They're very good football players. That speaks for itself, but it's the leadership, and the growth that they've made, and we need them to continue to be leaders. They know, what we talk about is doing things right first. You can't influence others unless you're handling your business and doing that at a high level. These guys do that. And then they impact their teammates, they impact their room, their position groups, and ultimately they affect our team. And when they're doing that, then they deserve that honor to be here. And that comes with a price. They got to continue to stay consistent. They got to continue to be effective in the difficult moments and lead our team. And that's what I expect out of them.